All right, welcome to Trash Can Talk Podcast. You can find us anywhere where you stream podcasts. If you are watching us right now, you're on YouTube. I want to welcome Malcom to the show. He has a cut and sew factory. If you follow us on Instagram, then you probably saw it today because we reposted him. It's called Newland, LA. They're in downtown Los Angeles. So anybody watching us that came from the Vinitex video, it's right across the street. So I'll dive right into it. How long you guys been over there?
Been over there for 2.5 years now.
Nice. And can you share about your journey, like into the world of garments? What got you started?
So what got me started in anything garment-wise in general was my family. My mother and both my grandmothers are all seamstresses and sewers. Dang. So I've been familiar with, cut and sew since I've at least been like 8 years old.
So you could run all that yourself?
I mean, no, I'm not a sewer. I'm not a pattern maker. I'm just very much always familiar and been familiar for a very long time. Right. You know what I mean? So that's how I got into garments way before I got into or found my style of, do like streetwear or do like this, whatever. It came from that initially. Watching my grandmother, watching my, both my grandmothers and my mother, make stuff for. My mom was a high school principal, but she would make all her homecoming outfits for her kids in her school if they can afford one. Like my mother would actually sew up their dresses, like their tuxedos, their tux or whatever and shit. Yeah. All that.
Yeah. That's it. And then what's like your biggest influence in the custom garment industry?
My biggest influence? People on the street. I'm not really too hyped up or impressed by, what's the popular, what's the, what's this, what's that. I'm really just impressed by good sewing construction. You know what I mean? Like if I see a good, for example, my brand, if I see a good Reform USA jacket that has, great, sewing construction, good overlocking, good, maybe even triple stitch, straight lines, like stuff like that, and gets me going. You know what I mean? Like that impresses me.
Like the finish on the inside's all like perfect. Yeah. All.
Well, not even perfect, but just solid.
Solid.
Solid. Yeah.
What about like? Okay, so what would you say about how? What was the mistake that they were doing, like Essentials, when the label was like folding back? You know what I mean? That plastic label. Like they've done a lot of like mistakes on that brand for such a high. You know what I mean? Like, what is it? What gets lost in translation on such big brands when they go into like manufacturing pieces that?
What can happen, or one of the variables that does happen a lot, is poor QC, which is quality control. Right. Once everything is finished, like for example, I've seen that. I've seen where, they're making a big deal about the essential PVC gel-like patches kind of falling off. Right. Or whatever the case may be. I think that's either, that could be their PVC people, their glue is not really gluing. Right. Or it could be the finishers at the manufacturers, maybe they're not letting it stay on for another 3, 4, 5, 10 seconds more. Yeah. They're just trying to get it out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that falls into poor QC for sure. Right. For sure.
Do you see that a lot in the bigger brands? You know what I mean? It's like, and we don't have to name anymore. And I love, dude. I literally, I'm a huge. I'm not even like trying to out Jerry Lorenzo or Essentials, but I buy I'm like a big supporter of the brand.
It's a fact. It's not a secret.
It happens the best.
It happens. You know what I mean? Like, but what. That happens a lot with bigger brands. Yeah. With bigger brands, that happens a lot. Right. Because they're doing so much massive or, they're doing real mass production. You know what I mean? Like the companies like that are doing 500 units to 2,000 units per one style. Right. You know what I mean? They have like 4, 5, 6, 7 different styles of that one particular hoodie. Right. Then they had another 5,000 for the t-shirts. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 styles. You know what I mean? Like that's real live mass production. So when you're sending your garments to either when you're sending your garments to or getting them finished everywhere. Yeah, you know, I'm just saying everywhere. You know, to certain places over here or to certain places here. You know what I mean, or over there. If you understand where I was kind of going.
Definitely.
You know, if you're going over there, expect some things to happen really bad. You know what I mean? Like that's just what it is. You know, unless you know that manufacturer over there personally, and he knows you, and he knows that you're not, just some pushover, guy with some money,
right?
Then maybe it's a little bit more respect will go into your garment.
I mean, this is interesting because I obviously have this company. This I guess wouldn't be the normal conversation that we have on the podcast. Which it's gonna start being more.
Oh yeah, no.
Because we literally,
I'm here for it.
Yeah. So I mean, we will be. There's multiple avenues that this podcast is going into, but the thing that really stood out to me, and should anyone, because I know we have so many entrepreneurs now watching this podcast too. So like, even if you have an insurance company and you're going into like, I want to make this sweater, but I want the best one because that happens a lot. But you want to save money too, you know what I mean? Because you're like, oh, this is all marketing. Like with us, we start everything over here with the DTF,
right?
Because we're like, where's the sizing? Is the color right? Is the back hip big enough? Because what we always run into is people that make stuff like Marcelo, his friend, our video guy. He showed us a back print that was supposed to be an oversized print.
Right. And
they print it like this on the back of a shirt. And we see that so much.
Yeah.
The thing that stood out to me is right when you were talking about 25-piece MOQ, 50-piece MOQ. Now, if you're watching right now, I know a bunch of you guys watch. You have treatment centers. You have different companies. I know we have some avid watchers that do real estate. I know we have some people that watch this podcast that have moving companies. Now, I highly suggest when you're ordering any jacket, hitting you up. At this point, if you're gonna order 50 of any jacket, so right now we have a varsity jacket that we really like, right? It has real Italian leather sleeves. They're still $65 a piece. But it's worth it. The quality is good. I love it. The jacket's perfect. The fit is untouched. But I'm buying a $65 blank.
Yeah.
Because it's the best.
Yeah.
But you know what I did do is I bought a bunch of varsity jackets. And they've been not the best.
Yep.
I don't want to give them to people.
Yep.
They don't fit right. You know what I mean? So what really stood out to me is at 50 pieces, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
I've bought things like mess ups and lost way more money.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to say something?
No, your mic there, you got to get a little.
Okay, so
there you go.
Peep this. So I'm going to go on what he was saying about the 50-piece minimum for cut and sew manufacturing. Okay, so for one, that's realistically almost unheard of. Especially in the United States of America, and we're probably one of the first, cut and sew agencies in the U.S. to have those low minimums for cut and sew in the U.S. How I got it like that was pretty much years ago when I first got here in L.A. doing production for this group, this record label, this brand, my brand, other people's brand back home in Cleveland, Detroit, D.C., I'm doing multiple projects with different people, more so on the East Coast and Midwest and a bit of the South. I'm making this guy, that guy money. And like, hey, if you want to do your own thing, we know that people always want to, they hear the complaints. Like those big time manufacturers that are gated off, like they know about the people that, why do I have to do 100 of these just to do this, Well, for one, those manufacturers, like their rent is like $5 to $10 grand a month just for their building alone. You know what I mean? So like they're not really entertaining of doing your small run like that. But I have partnered up with great people and great manufacturers that for certain things I can do those 25 or 50 pieces of cut and sew here domestically in the U.S. for you right now.
And I'm just gonna go into this because I didn't mention it, but when he's talking about 25, he's talking about 25-piece MOQ on like hoodies, right? T-shirts, long sleeves. The 50-piece MOQ comes in at like a jacket, a windbreaker. You know what I mean? So this is really unheard of. There's one guy that I know in the area, which you probably know him too. The only guy. Mm-hmm. Who do you think it is?
Who? I don't know.
There's one guy that I know too. When you come to downtown LA, his name pops up. I haven't met him. It's MSK Corp. Have you heard of him?
MSK. Nah.
So there's one guy, you know what I mean? But he's not doing the MOQs like that.
He's not.
But his quality around town is he's known. He's known.
Right.
Okay. Well known. But MOQ, dude, let me explain something too. For someone who's never been in this game. So I'll create custom garments and I'm going to say the name, China, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people outsource to China. Mm-hmm. Most of the time they come back wrong. Most of the time, even if I give them the diameters, they actually have a way of sizing, so they bypass it because they're not going to they're not going to make a new pattern for your pattern. You know what I mean? They're not going to make a new pattern for your hoodie most of the times. So take it from someone who's actually done this. You're going to tell them the sizing you want to do, and I've gotten hip to it too. So sometimes if I can get a lower MOQ on a custom garment, what I'll do is I'll have them start at medium and I'll go up to the biggest size they go. Mm-hmm. Or I'll start at large and I'll go, if they go to 5X, then I go to there. Mm-hmm. And then I try to resize it. I've actually sent them diameters and they just don't. They just make whatever they make and send it.
So, okay. Hopefully this doesn't get back to my two overseas guys for, I have two overseas manufacturers that I deal with if I'm doing anything over 5,000 units.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's for simple things like T-shirts and hoodies and sweats, like strictly. You know what I mean? Right. But here, this is the most simplest way I think people should understand how this works. It kind of falls on what he was just saying. Let's say this brand has a varsity jacket that they want to remake, and they have an old varsity jacket from their high school graduation, their college graduation, or their older brother's varsity jacket from God knows where.
Right.
They bring that jacket to us, right? Mm-hmm. They say, hey, Malcolm, we want to remake this, and we want to change this color sleeve, and our body wants to be black. So white sleeves, black. I ask you, hey, do you want the exact same size? Do you want to change anything? A lot of people always say, "Oh no changes." But the reason why I ask that question at least 2 or 3 times in that same conversation, because when they put on that jacket or they have on that jacket, sometimes with Letterman's, especially when you stretch out your hands, it's gonna roll to like right here for the most part. As I always tell people, say, hey, you can always alter some things to make it your actual custom fit for your brand. So what I tell people for varsity jackets especially, raise the, drop the length of the sleeves 2 inches. You know what I mean? Like make the width about like 1.5 inches, a little bit wider, because that's a thing nowadays. Like everything's wider and baggy now. You know what I mean? Like that's the main look that everybody wants to get off on.
The one I love about this one is they just drop the shoulders like everyone is. So they drop the shoulders down, and then the length of is just perfect. I almost am like, dude, I can't believe everyone's not doing a drop shoulder varsity jacket.
People are going to learn eventually.
Right. Yeah.
Eventually.
But it's like, I'm telling you, it just, there's nothing, you're not going to find it. And when you're like, I'm bringing this to help the hood, like, like if you're watching this, this is for the people. Yeah. So, I think they might notice with this reel today.
Actually, you know what? I had 2 people walk in before I got over here. They said, hey, I just seen this post, man. I didn't know you guys existed. I'm like, damn, like that's crazy. I got one of the biggest, next to Vinitex, I got the biggest signers on the block. Like literally the biggest signers on the block.
I'll be honest with you, I never seen it.
That's crazy.
It's like it should be in the middle. Because you don't look past the Nipsey Hussle thing. And the real, I've never seen it.
Man.
You know what I mean?
That's a whole other thing. But
it should be like right in the middle.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
All right.
It's too high.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Even though I had the cut and sew pattern making directly in that big window that's red as shit.
Yeah, it's too high. Dude, I'm telling you, where the Nipsey. Okay, since I'll tell you why. So if you've been in the area, everyone uses the real estate to say what that place is, where the Nipsey thing is.
Yeah.
So Skid Row Fashion Week, they had their Skid Row, and then they had all these faces painted. And before they painted the face mural, it just said
Yeah.
And before that, there was a sign right there that said screen printing. So I think if you're like me, I've been going down there forever. I just look in that one spot.
It's just eye level, and you see everything eye level and makes sense to you.
Right.
That's crazy.
I've never seen your sign.
I don't know how.
I just never look up that high.
You know, it's interesting. I've actually heard that a lot, and it almost frustrates me because, like, I'm like, yo, I literally have like the second, if not the biggest signage on the whole entire damn block. Right. And under that signage, it says everything what I do, and then right when you get on the actual like building, like on the door, I have two billboards, two A-frames that says cut and sew, pattern making, designing, labeling, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. But that does make sense as far as eye level. Right. You know what? My homie, shout out to AA Rashid. He had just told me probably like 3-4 days ago, probably on Friday, he had told me that I need to do something eye level, and you just double down on that.
Yeah, so, you got it.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll figure it out.
And then what advice would you give someone to look at starting their own custom garment business?
Research. Please research.
Right.
Like there is so much internet, even Instagram, TikTok information on there, but as much as you do the research online, you have to do your research a little bit more on the ground. When I say that, a lot of people hit me up on Instagram and say, hey, I'm trying to make 250 GSM hoodie.
Right.
Just for starters, in production in America, we don't even talk like that. Like we say ounces.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like GSM, you like convert it and do it. But hey, you know, you want a 16 ounce or 18 ounce or 20 ounce, like those Yeezy Gap hoodies. You know, those are like 24 ounces and up. You know what I'm saying? Hoodies.
They're probably like double that, right?
Well,
because it's two.
They're doubled though.
Yeah.
You know, like how there's made.
Yeah, there's two hoodies in one.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So it feels even more crazier. You know what I mean?
But I have one that I stain that I'm about to cut open.
Oh.
I have like 6 of them, but I'm going to cut one open. I actually am. I want to cut it for like a thing. You know what I mean?
Put like this. I know a few people who have did or dabbled or touched that pattern multiple times.
Yeah. No, I know.
Like, you know, it's been, in fact, if you think about it, since 2020, that has been the standard for mainly all streetwear hoodies since then.
But they won't put the same. They won't double it.
No, because that costs more.
Right.
I mean, and then for smaller companies, for smaller brands, you know, like that extra. Okay. So let's just say for shits and giggles, somebody brought us a Yeezy Gap hoodie, right?
Right.
They want to replicate that hoodie in same kind of fit, whatever, whatnot. So we can only imagine how many they did in production. Like for sure, well over 50,000 units, probably, right?
Yeah.
But this small company. Who only wants to maybe maximum 100 hoodies, right? They expect to pay the same price that Gap just paid for 50,000 units.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
and we tell people a certain price, like, you know, hey, you want to use this heavy fabric and you want to dye it and you want us to label and you want screen print on top of that, okay, this 100 hoodie is going to cost you anywhere between $38 to $45, you know, just depending on, you know, multiple variations and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And then, you know, they might lose, oh, well, I'm trying to sell my hoodie for 60, 80, but like, no, like, bro, like you just stepped your game up. You're trying to compare yourself to somebody. So if you want to do this, you're going to have to charge this. You know what I mean?
I forget there's one company, they're from Turkey. They're literally going so hard on social media.
Turkey.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they have it. But they sell it. I think the wholesale price is $60 on it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it looks nice. I've seen it in videos.
That's high, though. That's kind of high.
Well, I'm gonna show you after it. I'm not gonna even give them the plug because these guys. I've been trying to talk to them. They don't get at me. But they don't. They won't really. They're in between the wholesale and retail too. So like they have this way of having to order from them, where you have to buy. You have to order like a starter pack to get wholesale, which kind of pissed me off. Like,
see, okay.
They have a really good way of basically making you buy retail from them just to like open an account, which also Superline Wholesale did that to me. So it's like you had to pay $200 to be able to buy wholesale from them.
You talking about Superline out there in Atlanta? They're interesting.
The king of social media, especially for this game.
I mean, as of late, only thing I've been seeing them posts is pretty much just like viral clips off of other people's pages as of late. Like, where have they been actually producing? Or
he's been going to the trade shows, so they actually have.
I've been he been coming out here, you know, and so-called getting game, but he's not really getting. He's just putting microphones on somebody and they're letting them, you know, run their, you know, tell it what they're do, you know, but not what they do. But yeah, he's
doing a really good job. But there probably might be. So the thing too is I think that just giving out the game too, like already just from doing that one video, like here's the thing. Now that I tell you where to get the blanks, now you got anything else. I already gave you the biggest part of it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So now when it comes to creative and then when it comes to printing and all these things, I gave you the largest part of the cost. Yeah. Go buy your shirts, bring them here. Right. Now we step in the realm of creative. We step in the realm of printing. We step in the realm of what do you call it? Not demoing. Well, I just forget the word, but what is it? Sampling. You know what I mean? Sampling. So yeah. So when you step into the game of sampling, like you said, so like even all these hats sitting up here, right? I mean, most of the time too. Because people change sizing of where their logos are going. So like I even too. So you come to me with the hat idea, I'm like, we're heat pressing first. Yeah. And I'm like, you have. So I've been making people put $500 down just to start the conversation. Yeah. No. I have to do graphic design for them. I have to do sizing. I have to put put on the hat. You know what I mean? So like now that we have so much business coming in. To start the conversation is $500. Yeah. You know what I mean? We have homies that, you know, if you're the homie and the homie of the homie, yeah, come on in. We're gonna look out for you. If I don't know you, the thing about it is, if I don't know you and someone doesn't tell you to come to me, that means you're so far removed from the game that I almost have to charge you for education coming in. You know what I mean?
So, unfortunately, I have done a lot of free consultation.
Right, it's too much.
And educating people down over there on Main Street because, you know, for the most part, that demographic that comes there and shops there for their, you know, for the blanks that come from Pakistan, China, etc., that are being, for the most part, affordably or cheap. Right. And they go to wherever they go, either, you know, do the little simple screen printing, or maybe they go down the street to get the chenille patches, you know, and a heat press on them, or you know, they take the crickets at their house, you know, cut out the little whatever, and then they heat press. Like that's the people that I'm trying to cater and tell people, well, hey, you know, you can compete with your essentials, you can compete with your Fear God, you can compete with your FTP, you can compete maybe possibly with your Supremes, whoever, like. I can get you to that level, right? But you have to put some kind of forth of, you know, basic knowledge, right? Because you're dealing with people who come down there who don't know anything about a tech pack. Like, I shit you not, I have talked to like literally hundreds of people who don't know what a mock-up is, a tech pack, let alone a pattern. Why do I have to do a sample before I do this 100 hoodies? Because you got to make sure it's right before you do this 100 hoodies. Right, because you're going to come back with me and trying to get a refund. Right. And that's definitely not going. Right. So, you know, with that being said, you know, that's the kind of people that I'm trying to educate and talk to and deal with, and they don't even know the simple things that's really comes a part of owning or running a brand. See, and that's really hard and frustrating for somebody who's been like, you know, I have a brand. You know, I had my brand for over 10 years, but I made it in 2008. Right. That I didn't launch until 2013, 14, but I came up with it in 2008. So what I did in Cleveland, Ohio, was actually learn, research. Okay, yeah, my people did it, but what about making graphics? What about learning Photoshop? Who are vendors? I was trying to learn all this stuff back in 2007, 2008 when I first came up with my brand name. You know what I mean? So, but I didn't launch until 2014 because I had to actually learn how this goes. You know what I mean? And then still had to do some growing pains after that. Yeah. Still going through it right now. You know what I mean? I'm still 100% independently owned. I don't have no investors. It's all same thing with Newland. Like this is all me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good though. So like I think the even if it like the knowledge is something that there's a huge market for right now. The knowledge you have, there's a huge market.
All these little Instagram and like TikTok dudes been like they're tearing it up, but I don't get how is it that like you're giving out all this free information and how are you really making money behind that? And then when I had to come like behind your followers who basically are this is where Sean John gets his stuff made at in Los Angeles, or this is where they get this stuff made in China. And then, those people come to people like me and you, or those manufacturers. Okay, hey, I want to do my 20 pieces. I'm like, what? Like you want embroidery, DTG, this, that. Okay, all right, this is gonna cost you probably like for 20 pieces. This is gonna cost you about $100 just for your top. You know what I mean? And like, no, I'm trying to sell it for $100. Okay, well you got to do like at least 300 more to get to a good price where you can. Oh man.
Yeah, but this is another thing too. So like people that are starting a brand, you got to understand that you got to be in it for the long run. You know what I mean? So like the longevity of your brand. Say you do make something really, really good. You know what I mean? And it's like every time that someone puts that piece on, they remember. This makes a huge difference because we've ran it to. So like my brand is Young Gods. It's just become way more than that. You know what I mean? So like. This has become like a social movement. This has become the printing company. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we've almost stepped back from this. Like tomorrow we have a comedy show we're doing. You know what I mean? And we've been doing we had Tiffany Haddish. So
you guys became a brand.
Yeah. We had Tiffany Haddish before. We had Jamie Kennedy. Yeah. Tomorrow's Annie Letterman with Jackass from Jackass.
Word.
So like the thing about it now is it has recently become less about the garment and more of the mission of like letting people know that we are here for the people, like you said. We want the underdog to succeed. You know what I mean? Yeah. If we could be like a source of inspiration or like how you're gonna get your brand started. You know what I mean? Like if we could be a source of connection for people on like a good, positive realm, like that's where we've focused more of our energy recently.
Word.
So like
that's what's up, man.
But like when we started too though, so we were going heavy in the nice ass garment. You know what I mean? Like the fucking 20-ounce top and bottom. You know what I mean? Like, and to be honest with you,
that shit costs
money. Dude. I mean, after printing, we used to sell like the heaviest top and bottom you've ever seen, and I mean we sold the top and bottom for $200. But our profit margin after printing was probably like 16, and that's when they bought them together.
I shit you not. I swear to God, I was gonna ask you, did you make like $20?
Yeah, it was like under. It was like around. It was like around $16. Everything was the highest quality. Then what we went to is Young Gods became, like I said, it became more of a social movement, right? So when it became more of a social movement, we were giving out a lot more stuff to the supporters. So we switched to the Smart Blank T-shirt. Yep. We literally haven't gone too cheap on the hoodie. Like we've kept the hoodie. Like we just started using the new Smart Blanks, like fucking nice.
The reserves.
Yeah. That's what we did the last drop on. So like we've literally printed like on the Smart Blanks Basic, and they've just been like one thing we gave them out to all the homeless. You know what I mean? So this company was like, can you get us just hoodies? We just need them. So I'm like, listen, if you just cover the cost of the hoodie, then because the lady wanted to have cool hoodies with the artwork, I was like, the artwork's on us. Right. You know what I mean? We're going to just press them because you're just going to give them out. And we've done that a couple of times. We've given out. We've like sponsored some things where we made the artwork and we've given it out. So Yeah, we're right now. We just did another drop. You know what I mean? So we just did a drop with artwork. It has the hoodies, 3 different color hoodies, pants, shorts. It has this hat in the drop. Yeah, you know what I mean? And this has been like the first drop. We did like the shirts on the Shaka long sleeves. Or, yeah, our long sleeve drop brand. Shoulder garment dye.
That's a
good
brand.
What I mean?
Oh, and, so you garment dyed them too?
Yeah.
Good shit.
So, you know what I mean? It's a really cohesive drop. But like, you know, from what we did do though, since we took a break from that really big push that we did in the beginning, we lost a ton of people. Because it became less. So when we started the brand, you know, we put it on rappers, we put it on football players, NFL players, and we're not that anymore. So I don't want the bling, because we're just for the people. Like you said, what you're doing, we want people to come to the comedy show. You know, we support a lot of people, like getting sober, changing their lives. Like I'm coming up on 7 years sober.
Yeah. Word.
But I just want I want people to have a better life. If you're shooting heroin like I was and smoking crack, I used to live under the bridge. Everyone knew me from Skid Row, from being on Skid Row.
Straight up.
I used to be smoking crack at Gladys Park.
Boy, yeah, I mean, long way, man.
Right.
Shit, boy.
So it's like
Word.
I stepped away from that idea of like we're, you know what I mean, like the richest, the blinged out, and I'm like, no, you know what I mean, like. This is for the people like me that no one believed in, the underdog. Like this, like Young Gods became about the people when you told them your dreams, they're like, that's crazy. Yeah. Like I'm the person that's like, no, it's not. Let's do it. We can run it.
Legitimately, I understand everything you just said about that, because imagine a black man coming from Cleveland, Ohio, coming out here and doing what the fuck I've been doing the last 5 years. Like. Out here to Los Angeles, you know, like Cleveland, Midwest and West Coast, two totally different demographics of people. You know what I mean? And like out here, it's very judgmental.
Dude, well, the thing about it is that I'm surprised because let's just put it this way. I've been here forever. I'm super, super, super plugged in. You know what I mean? I'm very plugged in the area. I just couldn't imagine, and I tell people this all the time. So we own a salon, right? We have a salon in Carlsbad. We live, you know, right by the beach, right? And our hairstylists, they're like, we want to go do hair in LA. I'm like, no, you're 22. It's a wrap. Maybe if you would have went to LA at 12, and then you got into hair.
Yeah.
But dude, for you, if because one thing is I believe in people. Like one of our girls went, so I'm like, listen, I'll try and plug you in all I can. But she did it. She did it. She got out there every night. You got to be out doing free hair. You got to be partying every night. Now, for you to move here from a whole nother place, you know what I mean? The one thing I can say is you got to 100% be out there.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be out the block talking to every single person. You got to be anyone that's out there doing something similar. You have to ask just where you could plug in without stealing the thunder.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I've been super, like the one thing about me is I'm not competitive with anyone because at the end of the day, I just want to support. You know what I mean?
Word.
There's more than enough money for someone like me who just wants to support, and people don't understand that this is its own way of doing business.
Right.
So I don't need all the money, but I want a piece from everyone.
Fuck yeah.
I just want my I just want my piece of where I can support you.
Absolutely. No, facts.
And if you fucking kill it and you always just use me for my piece, and there's 50 of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I'm good.
Facts. Yeah, absolutely. And absolutely.
Some people, especially in LA, they don't understand. So, people who've watched me, I've talked about this a lot. LA is very transactional.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
yeah.
It took me 3 years to learn that. You
right.
know what
So
I mean? Yeah.
Anything that someone does for you in LA, there's a tab of it. You owe them something back. You got to be careful what things you let people do for you. You know what I mean? And the thing about me is I've never been like that. I don't know if I just wasn't raised like that. When I did drugs, I was. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But even still, so like when it's in the realm of drugs and me getting money for, like people say like a crackhead's not going to not smoke crack one day. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't not going to use one day. So it's like every day I used, but outside of that, like especially when I got sober, since I didn't have to get crack or heroin anymore, I'm like, dude, I'm free.
Word.
So I don't have to come up on $1,000 every day.
Man.
So I could literally just do whatever to help people now and see where I fit in.
That's what's up.
Like it's crazy. Like whenever I hear people, like I'll hear everyone be like, dude, a crackhead's not gonna not smoke, or a meth head's not gonna get meth. Yeah, you're right. I mean, and if you approach life like that, and then it's like taking out so it's like this. Now it's easy for me to make rent because I was spending $1,000 every day on drugs.
Right. No.
Imagine too if you were just living rent free. So you're just a normal human. You never smoke crack, but you're living rent free in LA. I mean, you could just make any move.
Anything.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, I just approach it like that. I have that same way because I'm like, man, I used to come up on 1,000 every day. I only gotta come up on like to be honest too now.
Just to get zooted, but at the same time, like now you come up with this shit easy as fuck because oh my boy.
I mean it's easy, dude. Yeah. The thing.